Hello everybody, welcome back to Dakota's Political Circle, and today we are doing the Senate prediction video for the month of August today. So it will definitely be different than the last month because of obviously the Harrison Walz pick getting announced instead of Biden like it was. So it's definitely going to be different than what it was previously. Harris is obviously giving the Democrat Party hope, in some aspects. So in the Senate races, you will definitely see a difference than last month. So I'm not dooming specifically, but I do think it is an advantage for them in Senate races because of this pick, because it's going to enthuse a lot of Democrats to get out to vote. Now, do I think the Democrats probably get the majority? You'll see in the end. But obviously, it is definitely different than what it has been. But you'll see how I feel soon when you see it like this. And I'm also including the I also wanted to show this as well. So I didn't think about doing this because I didn't think it was actually a thing. So I'm actually going to also show the margins on here just to show you guys like what the possibilities are and what the polls look like for certain states, just to show you guys, just to give you guys more info than just me talking about it. But anyway, let's start with the Democrat. So let's do the solid Democrat states, the safe blue states. So for the Senate. And obviously, remember about this. So it is expected to be 50 or 51 Republican to Democrat. So that is what is expected. I just want to let you guys know that, just to tell you guys. Now, obviously, there is 7 toss-ups, but even if you look on the RCP, 50 of them already are safe or likely to Republicans. So more or less, it is going to probably be a 50-50, or Republicans could outperform that, just to show you guys that. So let's start with this. So the safe blue states. So let's do Washington. You got California, Hawaii, and then I'm also gonna probably include New Mexico because I think Harris is outperforming really well in New Mexico, not by safe margins, but I do think the Senate does outperform blue more because of that specifically. But I don't think it'll outperform by actually, maybe not. Maybe I won't. No. I was gonna say that, but at the same time, New Mexico is New Mexico, so I would say they'd vote more along party lines than swapping votes like Arizona does. So I would say no safe blue for New Mexico. So safe blue, any more safe blue on here? I would say Delaware, New Jersey. You got Connecticut, Rhode Island, Massachusetts, Vermont. I'm not going to say Maryland, but I'm definitely going to be a little bit more different than I have been with Maryland. I'm also going to say Maine is safe blue. And then you got New York safe blue. Any other safe blue? Actually, yes, Minnesota will definitely be safe blue. A lot of people talk about Minnesota, but like I've said several times, Clobberbarker is a juggernaut in Minnesota. Even if Minnesota was close, Clobberbarker would outperform everyone in that state because anyone in a presidential election because of how much she is liked. So I would definitely say Minnesota is safe blue. So any other safe margins here with blue? I'm not gonna say Virginia, but I do think it will go blue. I don't think there's really any other safe blue specifically, so I will say that is the only safe blue from what I can tell. Now let's do the safe red states. So you got Utah, you got Wyoming. I'm not gonna put Montana in safe, but it is still there. Nebraska and Nebraska's second one. We got Missouri, Tennessee, Mississippi. I'm not including Texas and Florida either, but you'll see what I'm going to put. I'm putting West Virginia. West Virginia is definitely going to be voting Republican no matter what because they have Joe Manchin out of there now. You got Indiana, and I believe that is probably all the safe red from what I can tell here. North Dakota as well. I don't think there's any others besides that for safe red. So let's do the likely blue states. The likely blue states are kind of interesting now. So I do think with how it's been looking, okay, I'm going to say New Mexico is New Mexico is a likely because I do think it's going to be at the same margin. Harris probably wins the state, so I would say likely. I'm also going to say Virginia's likely, even if Virginia does get in the lean margin with Trump. In the lean margin with Harris, I do still think it will go likely in the Senate. And also, sorry guys about my voice. I'm kind of sick a little bit right now. So if I do crack my voice in some ways, it is definitely because I'm sick, not because of me just talking. I'm also going to say Maryland is in the likely. I do think Alsobrook will outperform Hogan, but by a decent margin. But I don't think she will get safe blue over Hogan. And obviously, polling before did have Hogan up massively, but here recently, I think because of the surge in the Democrats and stuff like that, I don't think Hogan really has a shot anymore. But you can see crazy things you'd never know. I'm also going to put Pennsylvania in the likely. I've seen several scenarios, even if I look, I've seen several scenarios that had Casey down like by 3 or so. But I still do think Casey is going to run away with it by a likely margin. Casey is a juggernaut, and I just don't see him losing no matter what. Um, and Michigan's an iffy one. I don't think I'd put them in the likely, but I would say maybe a lean margin with the Democrats. But so I would say I don't think there's any more likely Dem from what I can tell. Yeah, I don't think there's any more likely Dem. So now let's do likely Republican. I'm putting Montana. A lot of people say Montana's going to be closer than usual. Montana's going to be closer than usual. Look at this right here. He is up big. Other than this +2, he is up big. There is no way that he does not get a likely margin or even a lean margin. He is not going to be close with Tester. It's just not going to happen. He is going to outperform by a landslide. And it's not going to be a safe margin, but it is going to be a likely margin. I do think he is going to outperform tremendously. And I'm also going to include Texas and Florida. These would be safe, but obviously the uproar and Harris campaign, I do think they get a little bit of a less of a chance, but it's going to be likely regardless. So Texas and Florida, just to show you guys, I just want to show you. So Ted Cruz +7, you see that right there, and you even see +10s. Like look at this, +10s. Now obviously they haven't polled in a while, but I do still think it is a likely margin. Then when you look at Florida, you got +5s, and these are actually recent, some of these. So I would say that is accurate as well. So yeah, a likely margin for them. So far, the Republicans already won the Senate. Honestly, the only state that the Democrats need to really advance for to try to win the Senate, if they did win the presidency, is Montana, and they aren't going to get a shot at it whatsoever. So they're basically screwed. But it is a big advantage for the Republicans, though. But I don't think there is any more likely Republican states for the Senate now. So now let's do the lean Democrat states. This is where it gets interesting here. So I do think, I think it's going to be interesting with Nevada, but Rosen is really doing well. But then when you look at Arizona, Gallego is also doing pretty well. I mean, I really don't see a chance as of right now where Arizona. I mean, you could see Nevada. It's very possible for Nevada. Actually, I'm going to take Nevada off there. I will say Arizona, so far, in my opinion, is the lean for the Senate. This is a big decision for me because I believe before I did say tilt or something like that. So, but Nevada is interesting to me because I think it's going to outperform with the presidency. It's just that Senate that's going to be really interesting. I think it's going to go down to the wire, in my opinion. I think Brown's really, really going to get close in this race. You never know what could happen, but I do think the polling is a little bit wrong in Nevada, in my opinion. Now, Arizona, I do think it's pretty accurate. I think Arizona is probably going to be lean with the Senate. I don't think Lake is doing well whatsoever. So I would say that that's pretty accurate. I would say lean for Arizona. And then I would say, okay, then there's Wisconsin. I'm not going to say Ohio's lean, but I will say there's Wisconsin and Michigan. These ones are kind of interesting. Now, Slotkin is +5. I do think it will be lean in Michigan, mainly because of the Harris choice. If Harris wasn't running, I think Michigan would be a lot closer in the Senate. But because she is running, I think Michigan's going to do pretty decent in the Senate. Wisconsin's an interesting one. Now, obviously, there is +6s and stuff like that, but this is an interesting one. I think Havideh is going to come back in some aspects when it comes to Wisconsin. Now, do I think he could win it? I really don't know about that. But for now, I will say Wisconsin is lean for now. For now, I will say Wisconsin is lean. Then you got Nevada and Ohio. Now, you got the tilt red and the tilt blue. So I would say, in my opinion, when I go to Nevada, I'm going to say tilt blue for now. For now, I'm going to say tilt blue, but I do think Brown is going to outperform Rosen by a good amount, especially when it comes to the election. If he gets by a +2, if Rosen gets to like a +2 in the average by the time the election comes up, I do think Brown could take her over and finally win in Nevada Senate with a Republican. but you never know when it comes to these races. But I do think Nevada is going to be very, very, very close when it comes to the Senate. And then there comes Ohio. Obviously, if you look at polling, I know everyone's going to say something. If you look at polling, Brown is leading Moreno. Brown is leading Moreno. Almost every single poll shows Brown leading Moreno. But remember, Ohio is a massive Republican state. It is a massive Republican state as of now. It's a safe red state. And even though you see polls like this coming out, I do think it is possible for Moreno to win. I do think it's possible. It can go either or, but I do think if there is an outpouring of Republican support in the state of Ohio, then I do think Moreno will win the seat. So that is where I'm going to put Ohio in the tilt red column. Obviously, it could be tilt blue. It could definitely be tilt blue, but I do not agree with the polling where it's a Brown +5. I just don't agree with that. Just kind of how I agree with the Nevada one, but the Nevada one's a little bit more believable because Nevada does usually go Democrat. But when you look at Ohio, when you have a state like a safe red state and you're supporting a Democrat by that big of a margin, it's just very not believable. Now, I would say maybe a tilt blue is a possibility, but I do think it is a very big possibility that Moreno can outperform Brown. I just think it's going to be an upset and it's just going to happen. So in my opinion, it would be 52-48. Republicans would take the Senate, and even if out of some way Kamala Harris did win the presidency, she could not do anything, and it would basically be how it has been with Biden. Literally nothing going through that Senate or the House. So more or less, I do think it's a good idea if Trump wins. If this scenario did happen, I think it's a great thing for him. Even though it would be nice getting Nevada in this scenario, at least you have a little bit of a majority. But no matter what, as long as you get Montana, Texas, and Florida, you're good. You're going to be fine. You'll have 51 seats. It's just the Ohio is the big one here, and then you got to get Nevada there. Arizona, I'm really not sure how that's going to work out. But this is what I think is going to happen. Now, obviously, some people are definitely going to disagree with me in the comments, definitely, especially about possibly my Ohio pick's probably the one that a lot of people are going to be dissing because obviously, not whatsoever, Moreno has not led in a single poll. But I don't know. I just have a lot of faith in the state of Ohio because it is a big Trump state and it does outperform for Trump. Now, can it outperform by 5 points? I really don't know, but that's why I said it's probably going to be a tilt red or a tilt blue. That's what I think is going to happen. But with Montana, it's completely different. Montana is probably one of the biggest Trump states you can get. So I think Montana is definitely going to pull through for Trump, but Ohio is going to be a little bit different, but I do think they'll still pull through. I don't know why the state of West Virginia, when we had Joe Manchin, that we couldn't pull through. We were so dumb voting for him because he just does the same stuff over and over. But thankfully, he's not going to be he's going to be retiring because he knows he's actually going to lose this time around. But regardless, this would be a Trump win. This would be a good win for the Senate, and I do think this is still a good thing, regardless of not winning Ohio or Arizona in this scenario. So as long as you get Ohio and Montana, you're doing good for yourself right here. Anyway, guys, let me know in the comments what you think of my prediction right here. Honestly, I think it's a decent prediction. I think a little bit of stuff can be tweaked, but I do think it's a good prediction for this one. Let me know in the comments what you think. Well, let me know in the comments what you think I should change and stuff like that. Next month will be obviously a bigger advantage because it'll be even closer to the election because next month is September. It's getting way closer to the election, so you'll see way, way more accurate polling when it gets closer and closer, but we'll just see. But anyway, guys, I hope you guys enjoyed. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye, guys.